Right guys, this year will be big for the Apple Watch because guess what? It's turning 10, yay, double digits, happy birthday! So Tim is planning big things for the Series X, as well as a few minor updates for the Ultra, so let's delve in. If you're someone who loves the screen size of the Ultra but does not want to put up with the chunk of it, there is fantastic news because the first big change we heard about is the Apple Watch Series X getting bigger. According to Minchiko, the screen size options for the next generation Apple Watch will increase from 41 to 45mm and from 45 to 49mm, while being cased in a thinner design than the current models. That's pretty cool news on the whole, because number one, the standard size will now be 45mm, which is great news for me because that's a size I prefer and I can now get that for less if, of course, prices stay the same for these new watches. But also Apple making the body thin is actually nice to see with a watch because it's a product you wear. Yes, the Series 9 currently isn't bulky per se, but a thickness reduction will make a difference, and it's not entirely pointless when it comes to a watch. I know many are going to say though, I actually would prefer a bigger battery instead, but I'm gonna be honest guys, considering Apple has strictly stuck to the 18-hour battery rating for all their regular watches, I don't think Apple plans to change that anytime soon. Hopefully much like the iPad Pro where they gave us a radically thinner design whilst maintaining the same endurance, Apple Watch Series X also maintains the same battery life by using some engineering magic and a more efficient chipset. Also, you should not have to worry about this watch bending because remember with the iPad Pro, even with a thinner chassis, it actually did get structural improvements and was more durable than the outgoing model. And so durability wise, we should be fine. You won't be able to bend this with your bare hands and it's going to be completely fine, okay? Also, battery life wise, I can certainly make do with the 18 hours Apple's been offering for years, considering I charge my watch overnight every single day anyways. And if you need more endurance, Apple will happily sell you the Ultra instead. Because profits! Talking about the Ultra, it does seem like this is no longer the favourite child in the range because we haven't heard much about refreshes for this model. Quote does say it's going to remain roughly the same this year, although if production yields meet expectations, a new dark grey / black case could be made available, which honestly might be enough to get people to upgrade. I know NKBHD would certainly be interested. I also think Apple would put the S10 SIP in this, considering it would be weird for the more expensive Ultra to miss out on this, and I'm really hoping this chipset isn't just a rebranded S9 and actually does give us efficiency improvements and slightly better battery life. Why I'm bringing this up is because the S6, the S7 and the S8 might have different names, but they're all based on the A13, and only with the S9 did the watch get a performance and efficiency boost. And so here's hoping the S10 and the S11 don't stay on the A15 platform the S9 was based on. You know what I'm also hoping is the case if you decide to click that subscribe button, of course. It's free and would bring you the latest about Apple right to your subscription box, so please consider it. It would be appreciated. Join the saranbyte gang now. Anyways, coming back to the start of the show, the Series X, Apple's also going to start using 3D printing technology to manufacture components for the new watches later this year, which is going to help with production efficiency. And Mark Gurman mentioned a big way Apple's making the body thinner with this new watch is by using a new band mechanism. The current mechanism takes up too much space that Apple would rather allocate that towards a bigger battery or of course other components in the watch. And honestly, I'm not against this. I know it sucks for those who have a massive collection of existing bands, but let's be honest, were we thinking Apple was going to keep this band mechanism forever, guys? There surely would come a point where Apple wants to introduce something new, especially when they're drastically changing the design. And so 10 years of the same band mechanism was impressive enough for Apple standards, but it's time to move on. And Gurman does actually tell us the new band mechanism they're considering could be magnetic because, of course, Apple loves to chuck in magnets wherever they can. In fact, I could totally see Apple rebranding this new band mechanism as a version of MagSafe for the watch, because it sounds very cool and would be very easy to market. I do wonder though, how secure will this actually be? Because right now if you try and put a MagSafe wallet on the back of your iPhone, it will pretty easily fall off, and so couldn't a thief just swipe your watch off your wrist? I hope that's not the case. Now, if a random guy like me on YouTube thought about this, then I'm sure the hundreds of engineers cherry-picked by Timothy also thought about this, and just to save himself, Gurman does say he's unsure if Apple's gonna go through with this, so that basically means they're testing it, and they could totally scrap it. I guess a mix of the current latch design with some magnets thrown in for good measure would be the best way to go about it, but it seems Apple is channeling their inner Johnny Ive again, and they want to make everything as thin as bloody possible, and so I definitely see the thinner design materializing. The new iPad Pro is proof of that. But that's not all, guys, because a big focus with the watch are the health features, and we can also expect the Series X to add a bevy of new features related to your well-being. Specifically, the new watch should be able to recognize hypertension and sleep apnea. How would this work, you may ask? Well, when it comes to hypertension, it's going to be detected through blood pressure monitoring done on the wrist, and the watch will be able to tell the wearer if their blood pressure is trending upwards, so they can report these findings to a doctor. But Kerman makes it clear this will not be providing exact readings like professional equipment, which makes sense because Apple trying to make a product medical grade would be risky, because if it fails and gives the user some dodgy readings, they could get sued big time. So it's better for the watch to give a rough idea, and then of course you can verify that with an actual professional. Now with sleep apnea, this will be detected through sleep measurements and breathing patterns, letting users know if the condition is present. Considering right now you have to take a sleep study in an overnight sleep center to verify this, the watch offering this is going to reduce the friction in getting a diagnosis. This is pretty cool, I can't lie, though as a side note I will mention I've tried sleep tracking briefly in the past, but it's never really offered me enough data, so I wonder how precise sleep apnea detection is going to be. But of course we'll have to wait and see, but I guess at the very least I'm glad Apple's offering us more useful health features that I'm sure is going to benefit consumers at the end of the day. Finally, I do want to mention that there's been talk about micro LED panels coming to Apple Watches. Now you may be thinking, I've heard of mini LED panels, but what's micro? Isn't bigger better? Well no, believe it or not guys, in the world of displays, smaller is better, and micro LED brings better colors, brightness, contrast ratio, and no burn-in, so basically it's an upgrade in every single aspect. Now some rumors have suggested we could see the display upgrade this year, but interestingly we have only heard about the Ultra getting this, and that would be weird considering it's the regular Apple Watch that's turning 10. And so if I were to guess, I think that the Apple Watch Ultra and the regular model are both going to get this at the same time, but it's not happening anytime soon. Because of course, for both these watches to get it, there needs to be enough production capacity, and this tech is still very expensive, and so this likely is going to be one of those rumors that pans out in a few years' time. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching. Today I want to talk about what Apple Intelligence means for iPhone 16, because I reckon their marketing for this year's iPhone is going to be centered around these software features, and I have some general thoughts on these AI features as well, so let's delve in. So why do I think Apple's betting big on Apple Intelligence with iPhone 16? Well, it's pretty simple, guys. AI is the #1 thing in tech right now. It's what everyone is waffling on about, and so it just makes sense